Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hip Horse. I'm Tommy D. I'm along with Johnnie Lowe. We're back in the studio and we got a big one ahead of us, the Preakness 145 in October, Johnny. It's nice to have you back in the studio, my friend. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. It's really unconscionable to think October Preakness, the third jewel of the Triple Crown this year. But we're hanging in there. It's going to be a really exciting race. We've got 11 horses going to the post. I'm really looking forward to this year's rendition. It's actually later in the year, so it's more, the horses are more developed. We've had a chance to see a little bit more of them, and I think we're going to get some good odds. It's going to be a really good race.
Yeah, Johnny, I'm looking forward to the race. If you're new to following the Hip Horse, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you've been watching, follow us along, ring that bell for the notifications. We got a lot of horse racing information, especially with the Breeders' Cup coming. But right now, we're talking the Preakness 145 2020 Preakness coming at you right now on the Hip Horse. All right, Johnny, let's get right back to it. We're going number 5. Number 5 on our top 5 for the Preakness 2020. Who do we got?
Well, real quick shout out right now before we get to our top 5. There was a horse in the last race that we liked a lot, NY Traffic. He didn't show a whole lot. I think he threw a shoe, he cut himself, it was a rough trip. I don't know if the guy liked the track or what, but I think being back on the East Coast, he's probably going to run a lot better. They made a game time decision a couple hours before they drew the post positions, and they put him in. He's not going to have his regular rider, Paco Lopez. Paco Lopez is going to go to Max Player for this one. But just to give a little shout out, NY Traffic is by Cross Traffic, who's the Unbridled Songs progeny. And it's the Unbridled line, which is a really good line for a race like this. On the bottom, he's out of Mamie Riley, who's by Graham Hall. Graham Hall is the Deputy Minister line. Deputy Minister line's given us horses such as Justify and Curlin that have won this race in the last 20 years. So I just want to give a little shout out to him. I think if you're playing deep exotics, keep him in the loop. Our number 5 horse is going to be Swiss Skydiver. Swiss Skydiver is by Daredevil. That's the Halo line. A lot of people know Sunday Silence as the big Halo line stallion. He's out in Japan. So I don't think we've really seen all that they could possibly do out here in the United States, but there's been horses like More Than Ready, Roy H. There's been some pretty good representatives of the line still, even with the big guy Sunday Silence out in Japan. She's out of Expo Gold. Expo Gold is by Johannesburg. Johannesburg is the Stormcat line. We saw a winner of the Kentucky Derby in Authentic who was also the Stormcat line, so I think there's a decent amount of stamina on the bottom, and she should be able to produce a big race. She's been running against some really good fillies. She lost to Art Collector by a few lengths in the Bluegrass, but she's ran every big dance there's been for the fillies, and for the McPeak to put him in this race really shows his hand. I think he believes in his filly, and we should get a good accounting of her. Our number 4 horse in this race is going to be Mr. Big News. Mr. Big News is by Giants Causeway. He's out of Unappeased. Unappeased is by Galileo. Galileo is the Sadler Wells line. Sadler Wells brought us last year's winner as a broodmare sire, War of Will. Interestingly enough, we like this horse at number 4, and he's ran in all dirt races, but I truly believe this horse is bred for the grass. Look at Bricks and Mortars, who was by Giants Causeway. We've got United, who looks like he could be one of the top horses in the Breeders' Cup turf race this year. He's out of a Galileo mare. I mean, the horse really screams pedigree for the grass, but he's done really well on the dirt this year. And he had a pretty big race in the Kentucky Derby to end up running 3rd. Giants Causeway has actually sired 5 horses in the last 20 years that have ran in the Preakness. His best finisher was Creative Cause. Creative Cause finished 3rd. And the 5 entrants are actually tied for number 1 with Uncle Mo for most entrants in the Preakness in the last 20 years. Uncle Mo has a horse in here, Pneumatic. I think he's going to have to do a lot better if he wants to keep up with these horses, but it's still a really good feat for a couple of sires that aren't as commonly known as the American Pharaohs are becoming and the Curlins to be able to produce that much in this race.
Yeah, Mr. Big News, number 4 on the list, just going back to number 5, Swiss Skydiver. I like this filly quite a bit, Johnny. You know, very game every time. We've actually talked with Kenny McPeak, loves this filly, and it travels well. Shows up, it has the experience. So I gotta say, I do like Swiss Skydiver at number 5. Moving on to number 4 at Mr. Big News. Mr. Big News ran a game second, third in the Kentucky Derby, that is. And, you know, if you had him, you got paid in that trifecta or superfecta. Really put up the odds. Gabriel Saez is going to be the jockey for Calhoun. This is one that I like under the radar, Johnny. I like it at number 4. I think it could be sneaky. It is in the 4. It's going to be in the 2 posts, and it's 12-1. Let's move on to number 3. Who do you like at number 3?
So number 3, we're going to take a horse that missed the Kentucky Derby due to a little bit of a foot injury. I'm not sure what all happened, but Art Collector has been having a huge year. This son of Bernardini, who was a Preakness winner himself, will be the first horse to post by Bernardini in the Preakness. Art Collector is by Distorted Legacy, out of Distorted Legacy, who's by Distorted Humor. It's the 3rd straight black. He's got 3 straight black type broodmares on that fem line, which is really nice to see. And Private Account and Hoist the Flag are going to be on the bottom 2 lines, which are excellent stamina lines. If anybody has a chance to wire the field, I think it's going to be Art Collector. He showed us what he's got when he ran against Swiss Skydiver, and the horse has been doing incredible. It's on a 3-race win streak. Every race has been a 100+ buyer figure, and I think if Bernardini is going to win this race or one of the classic races, I think this is his chance.
Yeah, Art Collector, big hopes coming into the Kentucky Derby before it scratched, Johnny. It was the 2nd choice, won the Ellis Park Derby and the Bluegrass. Some people talking about the competition of Art Collector's competition coming in to those races, but did win the Bluegrass against a very game Swiss Skydiver, who's number 5 on our list. Art Collector 5-2 morning lines. You got Tom Drury Jr. and Brian Hernandez Jr. Great combo there. So number 3 on the list, Art Collector should be up front. All right, let's move on to number 2. Number 2, who do we got?
So number 2, we're going to take the favorite here, Authentic. Authentic by Into Mischief. Into Mischief has had a few runners in here. He's had Owendale, who ran 3rd. He's had Golden Sense, who's ran 5th. And Market King, who's ran 12th. Authentic is the Stormcat line, same as Justify. Authentic is out of Flawless. Flawless is by Mr. Greeley. Mr. Greeley is the Mr. Prospector line. In the last 20 years, there's been 4 Mr. Prospector broodmare line horses that have won the Preakness. Obviously, the horse showed us what he could do in the Kentucky Derby. There's no question there. The only question here might be the pace setup. He's got the pedigree to do it, but we'll see, can he repeat his performance from the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, Johnny, I agree with you. Authentic kind of having its own way in the Kentucky Derby after some of the scratches. A couple of the horses having trouble starts. So Authentic had its own way in the Derby. Even though it had trouble, Johnny V back aboard for Bob Baffert. You got to pay attention to this one because this one could definitely win it. It is morning line 9-5. It's going to be on the outside post. Number 9. Number 9 is going to be the post position here. And you know what? Bob Baffert's won the Preakness 7 times. You know, and you know, this horse has won 5 out of 6 starts. Authentic, you got to pay attention, obviously, after winning the Kentucky Derby. But that's number 2 on our list. Let's get to number 1. Number 1, who do we have for the Preakness 2020?
So number 1, just a little page out of Mr. October, Reggie Jackson's book. We're going to take a swing here. We're going to swing 1,000 words. 1,000 words is he got impeccable breeding. He's by Pioneer of the Nile. Pioneer of the Nile ran 11th in this race. But his sire, Empire Maker, sired Bodemeister, who ran 2nd. And Empire Maker's sire Unbridled had Red Bullet, who won the race, beating Fusiachi Pegasus in 2000. And he's had Eddington, who's ran 3rd. So we've got really good lineage that goes back a long ways of horses that have done well in this race. Pioneer of the Nile has also sired Social Inclusion, who ran 3rd, American Pharaoh, who won the race, and Classic Empire, who lost in a heartbreaker to Cloud Computing. 1,000 Words is out of Pomeroy's Pistol. Pomeroy's Pistol is by Pomeroy. It's the Boundary line. This is the same line that brought to you Big Brown. It's a Danzig line. Danzig's had 2 horses that have won. The Danzig Broodmare line has produced 2 horses that have won the Preakness in the last 20 years. I think top and bottom, this horse has what it takes. I guess we're going to see which one of the Baffert horses really shows up.
Yeah, Johnny, you know, Bob Baffert, when you got 2 horses in it, I'm trying to look for the value, so I'm with you. I like this as our one spot, 1,000 words. Bob Baffert, you know, Florent Geroux is going to be riding here. This horse scratched right in the paddock before the Derby, had some issues, and we liked him in our Derby video, and you know what, I'm hoping he comes back. Hopefully there's no major issues there, and we did speak with Bob Baffert on our radio show, and he said, you know, good things coming for 1,000 words. So, you know, 1,000 words authentic, you know, they are our top 2, but when you got Bob Baffert in this, you know, he's won this race 7 times, like I said, you know, you can't discount that. So, number 1 on the list is 1,000 words. Johnny, real quick before we get out of here, how do you see the pace scenario setting up for this Preakness this year?
Well, you know, I feel like in the Kentucky Derby, Authentic didn't get off to a great start, but there was no other pace in the race. It looked like Tiz the Law didn't really want it. He wanted to sit off. In the Santa Anita Derby, Authentic didn't break very good, and I think it possibly cost him the race. There's a chance that Authentic might not break well. It's a big field of horses. There's 11 horses. He's on the outside, and I think if Art Collector, without a doubt, would love to have the lead. If Authentic doesn't break well, I think there's a good shot he's going to have to come off of Authentic's flank, or I'm sorry, Art Collector's flank, and if he does that, it's going to really set up a different type of race. I don't know if he's going to get as brave getting a little dirt kicked in his face or going wide and having to press somebody. With that being said, I think Baffert's other horse, 1,000 Words, might just sit right behind those guys and get first run on the rest of the horses in the field.
Yeah, I mean, we are shooting this on Tuesday, Johnny, so things can change. As you know, we could get a couple scratches, so anything could happen from now until the Preakness, which is on Saturday. You know, rain, what if there's any rain or wet track for the Preakness at Pimlico? Do you see any other pedigree maybe in the mix that you see might be better, or one to pay attention to if it rains?
I think the rain might move Art Collector up a little bit. We've seen that when it does rain in the Preakness, as the year with Justify, American Pharaoh, some of the other years, when it rains in the Preakness, I think it helps the speed a little bit. It makes it a little bit harder on those rear runners. The track gets harder to close, and I do believe that Art Collector is going to go to the front. I think that's their game plan. He's going to go to the front, so if it rains, the son of Bernardini goes to the front and tries to steal the race. So I think that might move him up, and it also might help 1,000 Words a little bit. I think that the horse may be Authentic if he sits outside of Art Collector and it does rain. I think that 1,000 Words might get the first run at Art Collector, and he should enjoy the slop. I think the son of Pioneer of the Nile should definitely enjoy the slop.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see this race, Johnny. It's going to be a good one, the Preakness, especially with Tiz the Law not showing up. I think it makes it more competitive. We might be able to find a price and get paid on this. Anything else you want to say before we bounce out of here?
Yeah, just hopefully good luck out there in Hip Horse Land. If you guys don't mind, go ahead and check out my Instagram page. It's at the Rooster Coop, C-O-U-P. Check that out, follow. I'm putting a lot of cool stuff out there, trying to get that going, and hopefully everybody enjoys the Preakness. And don't forget, make sure you watch that Preakness drink video that we made for the Black Eyed Susan. Show a little bit of love there, you know, throw a comment in if you enjoy what the product is and if it was simple for you to make.
Yeah, definitely, Johnny. Good call on that. Go, if you're having a Preakness party, go check out that video on our site. It shows you how to make the Preakness. And then definitely, Johnny's got some great information, Rooster Coop. You got to go on Instagram. He's going to be putting out some great quality content. So if you're not already following him, go on there and make sure you follow Johnny. And make sure you hit that like and subscribe here on the YouTube, The Hip Horse. You're watching. We're here for you. Let us know who you like, too. Throw it down in the comments there and give us that thumbs up. Thanks, everybody. Preakness 2020. We'll see you next time on The Hip Horse. Good luck.